That'd be really handy right about now. Oh, hey, look, the intro. You know what? Fuck it. We can start it right here. Why not?
Intro over the intro.
Like I said before, remember that tower because you're never going to see it again until the sequel.
Yep.
That's how
very important tower.
That's how
not
important
for this.
Yeah, that's how important the tower is. It's not seen again until the sequel. Anyway, I guess let's just give everyone who's going to be watching a little bit of background information as to what's going on here. So, KORYTH here has not played Fire Emblem, but has expressed interest in learning. So I thought it'd be really fun to let him play what is arguably the best story Fire Emblem's ever delivered, followed by, in my opinion, the best game Fire Emblem's ever delivered. And conveniently, they're sequels, so it works out really, really well. So to get the full story, you gotta play both of them. So I am basically just here to act as a guide. In fact, let's just do this right now. I had a little thought experiment the other day. I'm going to give you kind of the option of what you want me to do. I want to treat this for what it's worth. I want this basically a podcast, more or less, that we're just talking over while you learn how to play the game and play it. And I want you to have complete and total control. So to give me kind of a basic idea of what you want me to be doing as your guide / co-pilot, or what do you want to call it, is do you want me to to tell you all of the different secrets and stuff that you can try and find, because some of them are extremely difficult? Do you want me to just to keep my mouth shut unless you need help and you're like, okay, I don't know how to trigger whatever event that you're trying to get to happen, and then I'll tell you, type of thing? I guess just kind of just you tell me where you kind of want me to interject.
Yeah.
And how do you want me to do this here?
I mean, you're always welcome to commentate. I think when it comes to like the more secretive stuff that you can find in it, I'd like to try and explore and find it on my own if possible, at least for my first run through.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to do just like commentation on what you think, sort of critiquing as I go, or something a little more playful commentation-wise.
That I can do playful. I don't want to critique anything of your playstyle. This is your first game. I don't want to try and be like, oh, here's a really good play. All right, I don't want to be the guy. I don't want a backseat game at all, and I don't want. Again, this game particularly is probably one of, if not the easiest Fire Emblem games. Period. So you shouldn't really ever get into a situation where, like in future Fire Emblem games that get a lot more difficult than even this one, let alone Radiant Dawn, they get more difficult than that one even, where you need to be pinpoint precise on different moves in order to make sure that you aren't losing characters.
Yeah.
That's not such a big deal here. This game is extremely forgiving, even though it doesn't have the most forgiving mechanic they'd ever invent. I'll get into that later. So I don't want to be telling you how to play. Like you just play, you figure it out, and we can play. We're going to be playing in. I mean, there's only classic mode in this game. This doesn't have casual mode, which was also invented later in the series. But what I want to do is, or what should I say? Want to do, what don't want to do. But what I want to let you do is like. What a lot of players do is, like, if they're losing characters, especially characters that they really like, they just reset the game and then do the chapter over, type of thing. And
yeah.
if you want to do that, I'm 100% okay with that, because there's nothing wrong with doing that. I do it myself more often than not. I don't like losing characters that I that I like, because the characters, again, have distinct personalities. They're fun, and the ones that you do enjoy tend to have a lot of work and effort you put into them. So losing them really sucks, because you watch all that work go down the drain.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you do whatever you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what the optimal move is. You're just here to learn, and this is a really good learning experience because it's a really easy game. I will say this: there are 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. There are 3 really important things that I'm going to explain to you when appropriate, because they're not the kind of things that you just figure out on your own. And I mean, one of them kind of is. Unfortunately, if you find out on it find it out on your own, it's too late to correct that mistake, and no matter how many times you reset, it will never be undone. So that one, I'm gonna give you the heads up beforehand, so that you don't just like, oh no, situation A has happened. What do I do? And I'm going, it's too late. Why didn't you do this way back? So I will give you a heads up on that one for sure. And there's two others that are extremely difficult to figure out on your own. One of which I doubt you'll ever figure out on your own. Probably both, because it's just so obtuse and obscure on how to do it. So I'll give you those ones for free as well. But then, yeah, I'll let you kind of figure out everything else on your own. The other thing I want to bring up to the audience, they'll see it as we get going here. I have sent him my save file for Path of Radiance and one for Radiant Dawn. Simply because in Path of Radiance, your first playthrough, you don't get access to some, which is to say the majority of the equipable items, because I don't know why. And I'm like, part of the fun of this game is those equipable items. So I'm like, let me play through it so that his save file will think he played through it once, and he'll have access to those equipable items. I think that'll help, be a little bit more fun for him. And I did the same thing for Radiant Dawn, because you can't get the canonical ending on your first playthrough. So by going to the second playthrough, I enable him to get the canonical ending.
Yeah, I don't super understand why they did that. Why they made it so you have to play it through twice in order to get the ending.
Radiant Dawn was kind of an experiment, so to speak, that would transition into future Fire Emblem games. In future Fire Emblem games, they would have branching stories, especially in Three Houses, where you get to like choose different routes and you're stuck on that route type of thing. And Radiant Dawn was kind of the predecessor to all of that, because your army gets split and you have to fight against your own army, which is something that happens in future games as well, where you'll be fighting against your own army. So it was experimenting a lot, and part of that was, I don't know why they had to hide the canonical ending per se, other than maybe it's just replayability, but I think it's also partially because they didn't want you to accidentally accidentally lock yourself out of the canonical ending, so they just said you can't have the canonical ending on your first turn. So you can't be like, oops, I prevented the canonical ending. It's just like you can't fuck up to where you don't get it. You just don't get it at all. I'm guessing. I really don't know. There's I'm not saying it's a good decision. I'm not saying I understand the decision or that even my understanding of it is correct. It's just, for some reason, they decided that you can't have the canonical ending. The other thing I will say, this is more a mechanical thing, so I want to get this out of the way. So, actually, let's go start a little bit, and I'll kind of talk about this as we start off the game here, so they don't have to watch the intro for I don't know, we're on the third, fourth time, something like that. Yeah, let's do a new game there. So it's going to ask you right away here when you select a file. Any file, it doesn't matter. So, okay, here's the thing. I'm not here to tell you how to play this game. If you want to play on easy, by all means play on easy. I will give you this warning. If you play on easy, you will not be able to transfer your data to Radiant Dawn, because Radiant Dawn does not have an easy mode, so it doesn't recognize easy mode as a thing. I can explain more about that when we get to Radiant Dawn, but just know that if you don't play on normal or difficult, you will not be able to transfer your character's data to the next game. And personally, I think that's a little bit fun. So that's my recommendation. If you want
I already was going to go straight for normal. That's my general preferred way to start any game, is to just see what the average is and then sort of decide from there for future
and plays. Like I said, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, I just don't want to be the one to pigeonhole you and be like, no, you must play normal or difficult. Like, if you want to play easy, you can. Just know that there are restrictions for doing so.
Yeah.
So you can.
That is cool. I didn't know that, but
well, the thing is, in all honesty, like the Japanese version, the quote-unquote easy mode is transferable to Radiant Dawn. The reason, I guess we're getting to it now because I brought it up here, but in in Path of Radiance, in every Fire Emblem game that was released globally before Path of Radiance, they added easy mode to the game. And they took away what eventually would be called Maddening mode, what back in the day here was called Maniac mode. They removed that and added easy mode. In Radiant Dawn, they didn't remove Maniac mode and add easy mode. They simply just called the default mode easy and changed Maniac to hard, because the people, like the underpaid interns in charge of that, apparently weren't told that for the international release you're supposed to remove Maniac and put in an easier mode. The result is that when you're playing in Radiant Dawn and you try and look for an easy file, it doesn't know what easy mode is because it never had an easy mode added to it, so it gets confused and it just crashes your game if you try and transfer easy modes in there. Because it's like, what is this shit? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So that's why easy mode doesn't really work. All right, so this is another mechanical one. So okay, so I will tell you random's preferred, but I'll explain fixed to you anyways. It's a little bit of a nightmare, but I'll explain to you anyway. So basically, fixed is when characters level up under normal conditions, which is to say random, each character has a specific set a percent chance to level up any one of their stats every time they level up. On random, it just will roll the RNG will roll a number. If it lines up with that growth rate, they get the point. If it doesn't, they don't get the point. In fixed, it is a nightmare. Basically, you have a lot more control over it if you know what you're doing. If you don't, then you're actually going to lose stat ups. But fixed is designed, or it's supposed to be designed, to allow you to ensure that your characters hit their average level ups. Whereas in random, it's very possible to get what's called RNG screwed or RNG blessed.
So fixed is essentially like the equivalent of min-maxing it as a D&D character.
Well, you can. That's the thing. If you don't know what you're doing, fixed will make all your stats kind of at their average. But it's the way it works is like each enemy you kill will add in little points to different stats. So like soldiers are worth defense points, warriors are worth attack points. And so you can purposely, while you're leveling up, fight specific enemies to further enhance the odds of getting whatever stat you actually want. So fixed allows you to min-max if you know how to manipulate the game's internal. They won't show you these little internal numbers, but if you know how to manipulate these internal numbers, fixed allows you to min-max. It's a nightmare, and I don't want to get into it, but if you want to at least play on fixed, like I said, if you don't try and manipulate, it does help to keep the gross on average, as opposed to random, which, again, you can sometimes get a little RNG screwed, or even RNG blessed, and characters will look a lot better or a lot worse than they might otherwise. But
I fully intended from the start to go random here. I am nothing if not a fan of chaos.
Okay. And for everyone out there who would otherwise be angrily typing in the comments, like, oh, that's not exactly how fixed... I know that's not exactly how fixed works. I don't want to go through the fucking novel that you have to read through to understand fixed. To a guy who's never played the game before.
Well, Ike, you had enough?
So many lines.
This was the first time they ever had voice acting in a Fire Emblem game, and it shows.
Shit, okay.
Oh, missed.
Ike? Oh no!
Missed that song.
Ah, you're up. About time.
also for those watching, since this is KORYTH's first time playing through, I fully encourage him to read through the story. And I know a lot of you probably don't want to read through the story and just want to watch the gameplay. That's weird.
That is. Are you able to see what I'm seeing?
Are you seeing just the main menu?
No.
Okay. Like I said, you can kind of skip over this. We had a small technical issue there, everybody, but we're back. Trying to remember, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So we're gonna let KORYTH play through the story, and I am going to do my best to learn how to YouTube properly and try and add in jump points to get you guys past the story and into the actual gameplay, because I'm assuming that's what most people are here for. If you aren't, then hopefully you enjoy the story, because it's, again, one of the best intelligent systems ever made for Fire Emblem. Probably the best they've ever made. Maybe not the best, but close to the best. What else was I going to say? Oh, and then, yeah, I also try and add in those two bookmarks or tab marks, whatever the fuck they're called. Whenever, if ever, that we have to reset in the middle of the chapter so that we can kind of keep the flow going for you guys.
And Fire Emblem operates on a grid map, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
You played Pathfinder, right?
Yeah, both first and I've read a little bit of the second edition rules.
So its grid movement works like that. So diagonal, I mean the diagonal isn't 1.5, but it works in the sense that if you ignore the diagonal, it works like Pathfinder. It's just,
Gotcha.
Diagonal is over and up type of thing, over and down.
Yeah.
There's no diagonal movement. Also, the first thing I want to do, because this is what I do with every game, and I encourage other people to... Oh, actually, I guess you can decide. Tutorials here.
I'm gonna say no because I have you with me.
Fair enough.
You shall be my tutorial.
Fair enough. Alright, so scroll off of Ike real quick and hit A.
Interesting. Next unit, map menu.
What's your A button set to?
Oh, are you wanting me to actually select something?
Yeah. If you hit A when you don't have anything under the cursor like this, it'll bring up the menu. And we want to go to options real quick. Let's just set these for peace of mind. Alright, so animations, we'll leave that. We'll come back to that if you don't like it. Combat camera is fine. Game speed, that's up to you if you want normal or fast. It just determines how fast things move around the map.
Okay.
Message speed, I would recommend doing fast or max. Grid thickness, this is just how easy it is to see the grid. So, you can kind of mess with that a little bit if you want.
Let's do something like that, I guess. You can always readjust it later.
So training goal, I think, is fine to leave on. Unit window is probably fine to leave on. I would leave combat window simple. I'll explain combat window when it comes up, and why simple is probably better. The guide window is or help window, yeah, leave that. The guide window is what you just turned off as a tutorial, so you can leave that. The C-stick should be fine. Auto cursor, so the auto cursor, the way it works is at the beginning of your turn, if auto cursor is on, it will move your cursor wherever it was left at the end of your turn, / the enemy turn, because the enemy will follow the auto cursor around. It'll just default it to Ike as your base. If it has it off, wherever you left it at the end of your turn, is where it'll start at the beginning of your turn. So that's kind of up to you, how you want that.
I think that's fine to stay on for now.
Yep, auto end turn on means that once all of your units have moved, it'll automatically end the turn and move to the enemy phase, and you won't be able to look over anything. And then off is you have to actually choose the option end your turn.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Unit facing, I would leave off. Facing doesn't mean anything. I don't know why they added it.
Damn, I was hoping it would mean something.
I don't like it when this type of tactical game adds facing is a bad idea in my opinion. There are tactical games where it works, and there are tactical games where I like it, but this one it doesn't work. Trust me. Not that it would do
That's
anything
fair.
against on. Message sounds are fine. Sound output's fine. Hoping to see. That's the one. There's the one with bonus XP display. Turn that on, please. That's a very big important one that I'm hoping for, and I'll explain bonus XP when it comes up here. But for now, just have it on.
Alright, so I can just back out of this?
Yep, you just hit B. And then, like I said, if you don't like the thickness of the grid, you can go back in there and change that. And then I'll show you animations and whether or not you want to have those on. We'll get to that. So now you can just play the game, which is, you know...
Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
What is the difference? What are these colored spaces? Why are they different?
Okay, so... even though it doesn't show it very well, you can think of it as an overlay. So there's red, and then blue is overlaid on top of red. Anywhere where it's blue, you can make an attack. Anywhere where it's red, you can make an attack. But blue is your movement. So
This is red?
yeah, oh yeah, red, orange. I don't know what color it is
Okay.
for color.
It looks more orange to me.
Yeah, so whatever a colorblind person sees. But yeah, so blue is your movement range, and you can attack anything that's there, and then red is your attack range. So it's basically just displaying your maximum here. So you can always attack. Your attack is always going to be into a tile adjacent to you if you're a melee hero like Ike is. And so like you can see when you scroll over Boyd, if you select Boyd, who's an enemy right now, like you saw, you can see his attack range. So this specifically shows any possible hex he could make an attack in at the moment.
Shit. I'll do this. I'll wing it for now. I imagine that it's mostly just this at the moment.
Yeah, this is just learning how to move your character around.
11 hit. Okay, so explain hit to me, as well as AVO.
Okay, yeah, let me just go through all of them. Attack seems pretty obvious. Attack is how much damage you're doing. With the trainer sword equipped, you hit for 11 damage before enemy defenses, obviously. Hit is your chance to hit, 173%. It doesn't show the percent, but it's functionally a percent. So you have a 173% chance to hit, which means if the enemy can't reduce that hit below 73, then you have a 100% chance to hit. If they have 74 avoid, you have a 99% chance to hit type of thing.
Just more flat plus or minus, essentially.
Yeah.
Similar to attack and whatever the defense is.
And then avoid is the stat that gets applied to that. So your avoid of 25 is how much you reduce the enemy's hit by.
Okay. And then crit chance.
Crit chance, yep, is 0. Dodge is...
Dodge?
Yep, dodge is like avoid, but for crit. So you dodge, you reduce enemy crit rate by 6%.
Gotcha. And then range being 1 is just adjacent.
Yep, you can only target adjacent targets with that weapon.
When it comes to things with actual effects, is it going to be like a symbol? Is it going to be an actual text explanation?
I don't think I understood what that question was. One more time?
It's like, is it just going to say in a sentence what the effect is, or is it going to be like a symbol?
I see.
And that symbol might mean...
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be there are 2 effective types. 3. No, there's more. Actually, this game has a few. The effective type though, it'll have a little symbol, and I don't think it displays the name of it. So the effect is gonna be like a symbol. So like if it's a wing, it means it's effective versus flying units. If it's a giant shield, it's effective against heavily armored units. If it's a horse's head, it's effective against cavalry units, type of a thing.
Oh, okay, so it's more of a bonus against certain unit types.
Yep. I'll talk more about effectiveness when it comes up. Effectiveness in this game is a little wonky compared to most Fire Emblem games, but it's weaker. Is the ultimate downside. It works functionally the same. It's just weaker, I guess is the best way to say it.
Okay.
And I'll explain effectiveness as it comes up. But yeah, your trainer sword has no effectiveness. It will never get bonus damage.
Gotcha. And then what is this sort of trifecta we have of the rock, paper, scissors layout? Sword, axe, spear.
Oh yes,
Or
that
halberd,
is
whatever
that
that
is
is.
the pride and joy of Fire Emblem, even though they remove it in certain games. It's commonly it's called the weapon triangle, and so the way it works is if you follow the triangle there, swords have an advantage against axes, axes have an advantage against lances, and lances have an advantage against swords. Now the weapon triangle, for example, in this game, let me just see here what the. So if you have the advantage. Your weapon deals +1 damage. If you have a disadvantage, you do -1 damage. So, for example, Boyd, I don't know if you saw when you scrolled over him, but he's an axe user. So you get +1 damage. So your attack is actually going to be 12 versus Boyd.
Gotcha.
And
whatever his attack would be would drop by 1.
His attack would drop against 1. So any damage he would do, like, versus you have to take 1 off of that. Because it's not going to display that until you get to the combat window, which, again, we'll explain later.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Accuracy in this game. So also weapon accuracy. So if you have the advantage, your hit will go up by 10. If you have a disadvantage, your hit goes down by 10. So your hit versus Boyd is functionally 183. And his avoid, I don't know what his avoid is, but we'll pretend his avoid is 25, means his avoid would be 15 versus you.
Gotcha.
It's basically a plus. If you have the advantage, you are doing. You functionally switch the hit and avoid. You get +20, like to your hit and avoid, basically. In total,
Okay.
because your hit will go up by 10, their avoid goes down by 10. Is 20 in favor of you hitting them, and then vice versa if they have the advantage. Oh yeah, that's the tutorial there.
Okay, and then what is suspend here?
That is going to save the game and drop you back to the main menu. And when you hit, it'll give you an option called Resume Chapter, which will just pick you up right here, but then the save gets deleted.
Okay. It's essentially like a save and quit, almost?
Yeah, it's functionally a save and quit. But again,
Gotcha. And then end is going to be for turn?
Yep, end is for turn.
I was hoping that you would walk towards me, but...
It's the tutorial level.
I assume you can't walk through these trees, or is it you can walk through them but not end in them?
Nope, you cannot walk through them. There is terrain that you can use to your advantage, but trees are not one of them.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's just going to expect me to go towards him to hit him.
Okay, so real quick, let's explain what these options are. Attack's pretty obvious. We're going to do that one. So shove is a new mechanic that they added to this game. It's a special ability that non-mounted units have. If your build stat is a minimum of 2 under, I think it is. I'd have to double check. Let me check that I have the website open up with all the calculations here, so I have access to all the information here. Where is shove? Oh, shove. There it is. Okay, your weight has to be 2 higher. Sorry, if your weight is 2 higher than the other person's weight, it gives you the ability to shove them, as you can see, even if they're an enemy. So you can shove allies, you can shove enemies.
Okay, so if I wasn't to weight higher, this wouldn't even show up as an option?
Nope, it would not even show up. Let me
That's
actually
good to
do
know.
that real quick so we can kind of explain some of the stats. So if you hit B real quick. And B again. Hit the Y button for the status option here. Let's just go through all this here. So here's the stat page.
Wait.
Yep,
Movement.
okay. So at the top here, just kind of order level, you get that XP, how much XP they've earned, HP, how much HP they have out of their current max. movement, how much movement they have, and then you can see weight again to decide, you know, how much is plus or minus 2. So shove, you have to be 2 heavier than the enemy. There's another option called rescue, which we'll talk about later, where you have to be 2, in order to be rescued, you have to be 2 under the weight of the person trying to rescue. So Ike can rescue anyone who is a size, who is a weight 7. No. Rescue is weight minus 2. So, yeah, so Ike can rescue anyone at weight 7 or lower. And he can shove and he can shove anyone at weight 11 or higher. Or weight 11 or under, sorry. And then your stats, yeah, let's go through stats real quick. So
I assume it's strength, magic, skill, special, luck, defense, resistance?
No, pretty close though. So strength is right. Strength affects physical damage. In this game, it's possible for non-magic users. This is the first game where it's possible for non-magic users and non-physical users to actually use the damage type that they wouldn't otherwise normally be able to, which is why you have both stats. In previous games, there was just one stat. It was just strength or magic.
Okay.
So Ike's strength of 5 is what gets added to, like, if you hit the Y button again. So there's the base stats of your sword. You see, it's a sword rank E. Well, I'll explain rank in a bit here. The might is 6. Hit is 150. You know, crit weight. I'll explain weight here in just a little bit, actually, and then range. So might of 6 plus your strength of 5. That's where the 11 came from.
Yeah.
And then the hit is 150 plus what is going to be your skill times 2.
Okay.
Critical hit is base 0. Your crit versus your opponent is going to be your skill minus their luck. Luck stat. So, like, in Ike's case, you have a 6 luck, which is where he gets that reduction from. And then weight is 3. So, starting in weight changes from game to game, but in the Tellius series, both this one and the sequel, weight works in this way, so it's easy to explain for both these games. So weight is simply take your strength stat minus the weight of the weapon, and if there is a remainder left over, you remove that remainder from your speed stat, which is the SP there. And it basically, using heavier weapons when your strength is too low will slow your character down to a crawl. And we'll explain how speed works. And we'll explain how speed works in a second. In fact, probably do that now, actually. Or we'll get there. We'll go in stats in order, but we're done with this sword for now. Just remember what E rank there is, and we'll get back to that one. So magic works just like strength, but for magic damage.
Yep.
Skill has 2 functions again. It's times 2 gets added to your hit ability. So skill of 6 times 2 is an additional 12 hit. It's also your crit chance.
The times 2 is, or before the times 2?
Before the times 2. At least I see that, but your crit still says 0. Why does that not look right? Something's not right here. I'm pretty sure. Did they change?
Could it just be because of the weapon?
Yeah, critical rate equals weapons crit plus skill. Skill divided by 2 is crit. Sorry.
Ah.
But it should still be 3, but your crit 0. So yeah, I think your trainers. I think there's, for the tutorial mission here, you're just not allowed to crit.
Makes sense.
All right, and then yeah, dodge is your luck plus support bonuses, which we'll talk about later. And then your crit rate minus the enemy's dodge rate is your actual crit chance. So yeah, you're just not allowed to crit, I think, in the tutorial. I'm like, you should have crit. But yeah, the tutorial apparently cancels crit. So the skill times 2 is added to your to hit, and skill divided by 2 is your crit. Alright,
Gotcha.
so speed is despite the fact that speed sounds like it should be used out of combat, it's used in combat. So Fire Emblem has what's called referred to as double attack. Sometimes it's referred to as doubling. And the way it works is it takes your attack speed versus the enemy's attack speed. If your attack speed is 4 points or more above the enemy's attack speed, you get to perform a second attack in combat. And so that's where that's where that strength minus weight comes in. So like the trainer sword weighed 3, you take 5 strength minus 3 weight is -2, I guess. I guess the better way to do it would be weight first. So if you do weight of 3 minus 5, you get -2. Is a better way to phrase that.
Mm-hmm.
So you take -2. Well, anything that's negative is treated as 0. So you then take 7 minus 0. You're not losing any attack speed for using the trainer sword. So your attack speed is going to be 7. If, for example, I think you get iron swords in the next chapter, which I think they weigh 6 or 7. I forget exactly. It's like 6 or 7. So that's where you'll start to lose speed until your strength reaches or exceeds the weight of the iron sword.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a little. It's not. Once you kind of get the idea, it becomes a little bit more. Like it's a simple process to understand, but having to remember when you have to go into the enemy and be like, oh, what's the enemy? Oh, they're wielding a steel axe, which weighs 15 in this game. So it's like, okay, is their strength above or below 15? Take the remainder minus their speed. Then go back. So finding the attack speed can be a little difficult. The game does a lot of this math in the back for you. It just won't tell you unless you do the math yourself, and you won't find out until you're in the attack combat window, which we're going to explain in a moment. So luck, its only benefit is the dodge to reduce crit chance. That's the only thing luck does. It's kind of the weakest stat, arguably. Probably is, but... And then defense and res are functionally the same stat, and they're the opposite of strength and magic. So, defense...
Yeah, resistance against magic, defense against strength, resistance against magic.
Yeah, and it's just flat. So all physical damage against Ike is reduced by 5, all magic damage is reduced by 0.
Yep. Makes sense.
Let's scroll over a page, hit left or right on the analog stick here. Okay, so build there. You see build is 9. Build. I feel like build is supposed to be part of the rescue and shove mechanic, but I'm not seeing it listed here as part of it.
I mean, is that just what determines my own weight? Or part of what ties into it?
I thought it was. I'm not seeing anything on the calc page here that says build does anything. But I wonder if they used weight twice when whoever was making the website, when they were doing the rescue and shove mechanics, if they used weight twice, and one of those was supposed to be build. Either way, it's not super important. If it becomes an issue, I'll try and get back to it. So type there, the 2 swords, you got Bjork. We'll get into that much later. It's not important right now.
Yep.
It's weapon level. So your Ike can, as you can see, his training is only in swords. He can only use swords. He can use any sword that's D rank or lower, which is why you can use that E rank trainer sword. You don't have any skills yet. Skills will come into the game later, but you'll be able to apply skills up to a maximum of a 20 capacity. So we'll get into that later. Go over to the next page. So attribute Earth, that is effective when it comes to supports. We'll talk about those when supports become available, which is a bit later in the game. Biorhythm is a really bullshit mechanic that a lot of people don't like. It's generally not that big a deal, but every now and then it can cause small problems. So the way biorhythm works is it'll kind of follow along that frequency, that wave pattern it's got. If it is above that more solid line,
the one in the middle.
Yep. If it's above the more solid line, you see that arrow behind his level there. It's a big green arrow pointing up. If you got that arrow, you get +5 to your hit. If it's down, you get -5 to your hit. And so
interesting.
The biorhythm just kind of fluctuates over time, giving you that random +5, -5. Generally not a big deal.
Yeah.
It doesn't do much, and a lot of people don't like it because it's one of those things that it doesn't do much, but for those who play the game on like hardcore like speed runs and stuff like that, that 5% will on a rare occasion make a difference, and it fucking they hate it. It's just like, why? I was trying to speed run this, and it would have been fine if Biorhythm didn't exist.
Yeah.
All right, so bonus is that's if the weapon you're equipped is, or not the bonus, sorry, that's your support bonuses, not the weapon equipment. So again, support bonuses we haven't talked about, but basically support bonuses will apply bonuses to your attack, defense, hit, and avoid. You don't have any supports yet. We'll talk about those later, but that's where those it'll show you what bonuses you're getting.
What are the two stats below movement and weight?
Traveling and conditions. So traveling is showing if they're holding a unit. If you use the rescue ability, it'll show what unit they're holding under the TRV. And then the CD is conditions. There are conditions in this game, and when they show up, that's just showing you what the condition is and how much longer it'll last.
Gotcha.
And that,
nice and easy.
Yep, that should cover the stat page. Get you ready here. So now if we go back to the combat, or the pre-combat menu, where you were before. Yeah, keep going. Hey, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
The little pre-combat menu where it has the little this stuff here. So yeah. So item. If you had item, I think you do actually. So if you go to items real quick.
It's just the sword.
Oh, they don't. No, that's right. Mist gives you an item after this. So they teach you what items after Void. But under normal conditions, it'll give you the option to use other items in your inventory there. If you hit weight, it ends your unit's turn.
Yep.
And then if you hit attack here, we'll get to the thing. So you hit attack.
Weapon, blah, 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 compare stats.
So here is the that combat menu where you have either the simplified, which is what you're seeing now, or the advanced. The simplified is just much easier because it does a lot of the math for you. As you can see, it simply shows the enemy's HP in the red/orange/whatever color you see box, and your stats in the blue or whatever color you see in the other box there.
Yeah, red and blue.
Okay, so yeah, red and blue. So yeah, you have 19 HP, you deal 9 damage 100% of the time at 0 crit. Void has 18 HP, deals 8 damage per hit, and hits 100% of the time. Each character will only get 1 hit. If you have that ability to get the second hit in combat, it'll show a ×2 next to whichever person gets the extra attack, and only one person ever can.
Okay.
With one exception, but I'm not going to get into the exception because it's extremely unlikely. If we see it, I'll explain why it happened.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, once you hit A, it begins combat, and this is the animation. If you, like I said, some people like to turn these off. If you like to watch the animations, you can leave them on. But it just kind of shows you what's going on in battle in back in the day, what was considered relatively acceptable 3D.
And then, yeah, from there should just be end. Coward. Oh, he did hit me.
He hit you during, because he gets to attack too. So every time,
okay.
Yeah, anytime any person makes an attack, the other player gets a retaliatory attack. Unless, like in this case, he's dead, so now he doesn't get his retaliatory attack. Yeah, she gives you the items, and the game would, if you took the tutorial, it would be like, click on the items thing and use an item. And you're going to want to do that, otherwise you'll lose this mission if you don't.
Gotcha.
It started, yeah, unfortunately it's still your turn, so there's nothing more you can do.
I just have to end.
Yeah.
items. And what does it do?
Y. Hit Y.
Ah,
If you're ever confused, always hit Y.
I see. But why? And then I assume I can't attack when I use an item?
Yep. Yep. So you each character gets one action, quote unquote. Action is a very variable term in this game. So even when I say action, don't assume that they're all equal. But using an item and attacking are the two most common, and they do use up your turn. But there are other actions you can do that don't use up your turn.
Okay. Needed 6 points of damage. Six. Then you hit me, I survive. Ah, and your speed can go up, okay.
Yep. So when you level up, every stat that's on display there, I don't remember if they show con actually in that stat screen. In previous games, they showed con, which was not able to go up. But I think in this one, all the stats they show have a chance to go up, and it's variable per character. Each character has a completely unique set of growth rates. Ike has some of the best growth rates. Spoiler.
Oh. Did I miss something here?
Oh, it's just after you beat every chapter, it asks if you want to save, is all.
Oh, okay.
You can save over any of these. You can even save over my epilogue save. You don't need that.